So we got the documentary. Well, I'm not sure if that's a documentary, but maybe it is a documentary. When Shibei, how League of Legends conquered the world. As someone who has been playing this game for over 10 years, who is definitely not addicted to this game, I'm curious how indeed this game did conquer the world. So let's see what the video has to tell us. Looks like a documentary so far. Very nice. Guam. Out of curiosity, what the f is Guam, chat? Like, need to check my Guam territory. That is an island. Images, maybe, but hold on. Where the f is it? Chat, maybe we just need to go to the maps. I see how it is, chat. So basically, chat, that's what we have. We're in the middle of nowhere, but if we zoom in, we're still in nowhere. Oh, there it is. See, this is where we are. That's Guam, chat. Bro, as someone who is afraid of water, I would be terrified to live in here. Bro, you're surrounded by only water. Oh my god, yeah, miss me with that. Anyway. Looks nice.
Nick was an American high school student living on the island of Guam. Growing up on an island is a bit of a double-edged sword in many regards. Islands can be paradise with beautiful landscapes, but sometimes bored high schoolers just want something to do. For Nick, that something ended up being playing computer games.
Understandable.
Real-time strategy games were hugely popular during the time and had caught Nick's attention. He had been playing games like Homeworld and StarCraft religiously to a point where he was starting to learn how to mod the games himself. StarCraft in particular had a pretty detailed map editor included in its main expansion, which allowed...
That's detailed map for the time when it was the newest game. Well, not the newest game, but a couple of years of existence already. That's pretty detailed, chat.
Players to create their own custom maps and modded versions of the game they could then share with others across the internet. This really caught Nick's attention, and before long, he was creating and publishing his own games to the web. Shortly after that, Nick began to develop a small following who enjoyed paying attention to his games, eagerly awaiting his next release. He would make
2002. Bro, 2002. My guy is smurfing and creating new maps in 2002. Whilst majority of the viewers who are watching this video with me right now weren't even born. Cool.
Enjoyed paying attention to his games, eagerly awaiting his next release. He would make dozens of games over the course of a number of years, but his magnum opus came out in 2001. It was called Eon of Strife. The basic idea behind Eon of Strife was a team of 4 players were tasked with fighting in a war between 2 armies while only being able to control 1 character each. This all took place on a specialized battlefield that featured 2 bases, 1 on each side of the map with 4 lanes connecting them. Every few minutes, minion units would spawn from each base and run down the lanes until they met the opposing army and began.
We're still talking about StarCraft. Wait, this is new information, chat. I was under the impression that League of Legends came from Dota. Dota came from Warcraft. Well, Warcraft is Blizzard. StarCraft, yeah, sure, same potato. But the idea, bro. I thought the original idea was that it was a modded Warcraft map.
And fighting. The goal for the players was to fight alongside their hordes of minions, eventually pushing back the enemy forces, making it to the enemy base, and destroying it. All of this was originally played against a computer that had slightly stronger units than the players did, which is where the challenge came in. The 4 teammates would have to work together, helping each lane that fell behind before the enemy team overran their base. The one thing players
think about, bro, imagine with this mode in League of Legends right now. I mean, technically one could say, yeah, we have that 3 lanes and a jungle, but what if we have right now just 4 solo lanes? Riot! Write it down.
Before the enemy team overran their base. The one thing players had going for them, though, was their champions would be slightly stronger than the average minion, as players got to choose to play as one of 6 unique heroes. These heroes had special stats and abilities, and anytime they got a killing blow on an enemy minion, they would be granted a bit of currency they could later use to upgrade their character.
Nice.
It was a fun little map that caught enough attention online that fans were still thinking of it when Blizzard released their next game. In 2002, Warcraft 3 debuted, which was a game that looked almost suspiciously like Eon of Strife. Although it was another traditional real-time strategy game released from Blizzard Entertainment with the normal base building and army management always included, Warcraft 3 introduced a new idea to the genre, heroes. Players were now given unique characters that had special abilities and could fight alongside their hordes of minions in battle.
But what's the difference between these heroes and the heroes from StarCraft? Because we were maxing out the heroes in the StarCraft as well, no?
It didn't take long for old Eon of Strife fans to notice the similarities, and soon many were recreating their mod in Warcraft 3. One of those fans was a kid named Kyle Summer, better known online by his username Yule, who called his version Defense of the Ancients.
There it is, yeah, that's what I was talking about. But the original idea was in StarCraft, eh? What do you mean, bro?
Or simply Dota. His version of Dota was a little bit different from classic Eon of Strife in
Yeah, that's the one we're familiar with. This is the map. I imagine that this is the Dota map, but this is also the Dota map in the Warcraft, and this is the map that we have in League of Legends. Sure, yeah, it's more interactive, but imagine something like that as a fun mode. Since we have AR Earth, we have a Nexus, well, I don't think we have Nexus Blitz, but you get the idea. We have the rotating fun modes, and Riot said that they're bringing the fun modes back. What if we get something like that? 4 solo lanes and no jungler. 4v4, that would be fun.
that it was now played on a 3-lane map and included 5 players on each team. Dota also expanded on the roster of playable heroes by a very wide margin, as it was now easy for fans to take basic Warcraft 3 characters and import them into their own mod. Shortly after, Warcraft 3 would have its own expansion released, coupled with another highly detailed map editor. Seeing the potential for the game to grow, Kyle made
Also, yeah, the Frozen Throne, best Warcraft expansion, it is what it is.
a really selfless decision to release his game's source code so anyone could copy and build their own version of Dota. Soon, dozens of Dota variants, each with unique heroes and items, were being made and shared all across the internet, until 2 friends had an idea. A couple of Dota players who went by the names Mian and Ragnar gathered all of the best heroes they found in all the variants of Dota across the web and created a single mod that included all of them, called DOTA All-Stars. In 2004, the mod really began picking up steam when it made its way to the University of Wisconsin. There, a young student named Steve Feek, who went by the online username Ginsu, picked up all
Now you might be thinking, who is Ginsu? Chad, there's an item in League of Legends. Straight up, I have a feeling, just a feeling, Chad, that this item is named after him. Where's my collection? There we go. Items. New set. This item. Chat, does it look familiar, this name? Bro, I feel like I've seen this name somewhere. I don't know, must be a coincidence.
All-Stars and began patching it. Ginsu originally began fiddling around with the game because he wanted to fix some of the bugs he kept running into when he was playing games with his old college buddies, but before long he was releasing regular versions of it with even more changes to make the game more fun.
Nice.
He was adding item trees for players to further customize their characters, as well as adding a boss monster to the map named after his bowling ball, but the most significant change was Ginsu thought this genre of game might be more fun if instead of fighting waves of AI minions, players instead fought each other. That was the change that blew Dota up into the mainstream.
But you also have to realize, now everyone is thinking, yeah, like, bro, duh, that's the classic, that's the PvP mode everyone wants, you know? But we have to realize one thing, Chad, that in the very beginning, no one even thought of that. This idea wasn't even conceived. The idea of MOBA did not exist. So creating something that's right now seems basic back then was pretty insane. You might be thinking, bro, give us an example, bro. A toilet. It was created, to my knowledge, in maybe 18th century? The proper toilet that you have in the homes right now. Feel like 18th century? Now you might be thinking, bro, that's kind of basic information, that's kind of basic utility to have, but you know, yeah. Or maybe it's, bro, it was also toilet paper, bro, believe it or not, toilet paper, yeah. I feel like it was Jon Snow's, the actor Kit Harington, I feel like it was his great-grandpa who created it. Hold on, give me a second, we need to Google that. There it is, chat. Kit Harington's ancestor invented the flushing toilet and is the reason it's called the John. Yeah, so not toilet paper, the toilet, bro, deal with it. Another day, listen, you know. Also, yeah, there was
It's difficult to describe what made the game so fun, but by 2005, Dota was becoming a worldwide success. At Blizzard's first ever annual BlizzCon event, they hosted a Dota tournament, even though it was all for a game they didn't even make. The fact that Dota found so much success while being nothing more than a custom map in another person's game was remarkable, but it didn't take long for the game's limitations to begin showing. Because every Dota match had to be run through a Warcraft 3 custom lobby, the game would never be able to have independent features like a matchmaking service, ranked ladder, or punishment system for players who abandoned games. If this new genre was ever going to have those features, it would have to become a standalone title. And in 2006, someone had the idea to make exactly that. Dota fanatics Brandon Beck and Mark Merrill founded Riot Games that year, and shortly after went around hiring many original Dota creators, including Ginsu, to develop their own game. That game, known today as League of Legends, would prove to be everything the original mod couldn't be, growing past all previous limitations.
Wait, so League came before the Dota? Because we're talking Dota the mod in Warcraft. Okay, so my knowledge is kinda outdated, Jet. Hey, the more you know.
League of Legends had a long and trying development it had to go through before ever seeing the light of day. Most of the developers working on the game were nothing more than fans of a custom Warcraft map with very little professional game design experience beyond that. When it came to building their own game engine and early prototypes, there were always loads of problems they were running into, which eventually...
Hold on, give me a second. I imagine this is the footage from the very beginning of the game, from the alpha stages, chat. What do we see here? We've got Master Yi, we've got Kale, we've got Malphite, a child. I want to see Caitlyn maybe. Malphite again. William. Tristana because of the rocket cannon. Character sounds created. Oh, so they were creating sound. Oh, do you see Jax? Yeah, we've got Jackson there. Lots of information. Way too much of information.
Actually led to a pretty buggy experience at first. Similarly, Riot...
Not just at first, I'm just saying, bro. I'ma just say it. Yeah, it wasn't just a buggy experience at first. It's buggy still 14 years later. Well, consider the fact we started in 2005, 2006. But I mean, that's like, what, 18 years later? Yeah.
Had a bit of a conundrum they had to answer in what their game would actually be. While they certainly knew they were making a Dota-style game with a 3-lane map, players choosing characters and customizing their playstyle through...
Can you name every single champion? Yes, you can, because there is a name, bro. I didn't see the name. That's Cat, bro. Swear to God, I wanted to see that Sivir. Gangplank straight up from the SpongeBob. Pirates straight up from the SpongeBob, bro. Tell me what you want. Malphite? Didn't change, bro. Perfect champion from creation. 18 years. Look at Sivir. Yeah, Sivir. Mwah. Artwork. Straight up art. Little scary. Yeah, we got Wild and Nivea. We got Tenma. That's Tryndamere, by the way. Who is that? Singed. Giga Chad Singed. Look at Singed. Oh my god. That was the OG Phantom Dancer. Lyandris. This is Last Whisper. Yeah, like brother, I'm trying to remember some items. Randuin's. Yeah. Warmog is also perfect item. And Shin, bro. We didn't change that item. Ryla's like, oh my god, brother.
Items and role choices same as ever, there was always a question of whether or not certain things should be changed. Many original Dota elements were things that were simply left over from the Warcraft 3 engine, like the day-night cycle, slow turn ratios, and an ability to kill your own minions. Riot would go on to remove all of these elements, much to the chagrin of Dota diehards, but they believed doing so would streamline the experience, creating faster gameplay that was easier to understand.
Yeah, exactly. It was easier to understand because, bro, imagine we would have to implement right now the ability to kill your own minions to deny experience and go from your lane opponent. Just imagine that, bro. I'm already struggling with the regular minions, bro. Imagine you have to look at your own to see what's happening in there.
Understand and felt more responsive to play. Many of these quality of life updates in retrospect were probably a pretty good idea, but one evening Riot took things a bit too far. At some point during development, Riot made the decision to make their main game mode a 6 versus 6 experience rather than the traditional 5 versus 5 Dota.
Also, 6 versus 6 was... bro, I remember this mode. It was brought back as a fun mode. It was called Hexakill. It is Hexakill. Yeah, it was brought... What was it brought back? Season 5? I want to say maybe Season 4. Around that time, bro, because it was early on. And it was on the Dominion map. Bro, that was fun. Or not Dominion map. Yeah, that wasn't Summoner's Rift. Bro, that mode was fun, bro, right? How about, yes, speaking of bringing back the mods. New fun mods, you know, how about Hexakill? How about we bring it back? That was fun.
Had always been. They were probably thinking the number of players per team had changed before, and maybe this could improve the experience further.
2014,
In
yeah,
interviews
Season
as
4.
late as April of 2009, just months before release, Riot was promoting League as a game specifically with 6v6 gameplay. But sometime in the following months, this change would be reverted, and it's not hard to guess why. The Dota genre may have small details that could be improved upon with added or removed mechanics, but the overall structure of the formula was perfect. 5 players per team just kind of worked for whatever reason, and increasing or decreasing that number made the experience way less fun. Riot would then go on to release League of Legends later that year as a 5 vs 5 experience and stayed away from making any other fundamental changes to the game. The release of League marked the birth of this new genre that would eventually be dubbed the MOBA. In its early era, League was a pretty rough, buggy mess due to many of the hiccups that Riot kept running into during.
But that was the best era, bro. Where everything is broken, bro. Nothing was broken. It was fucking insane. The classics include as pushing Baron into enemy base as Poppy. You had the charge. Poppy's charge was able to push enemies, big enemies. So what Poppy would do would walk into the Baron pit and just push Baron into enemy fountain, and people are dying in there. Or, Big Brain, you can push it into your own fountain and get Baron, and you hope for the best. Also, there was Darius shenanigans. Darius, when recalling, on the very last moment of recall, Darius got upper hand, and anyone who was in the upper hand range is going into Darius's fountain. Do that at level 1 with 5 stacked opponents. You're getting a pentacle because all 5 opponents are going to your fountain. Bro, that was the most fun.
Development. But even so, the gameplay proved to be fun enough that it garnered a small community. Now that the wider world had finally been exposed to this new genre of game that up until now had only been reserved to custom map-making communities, they thought it was pretty fun too. Soon, League of Legends began snowballing to becoming one of the most popular online games there were, as well as the biggest competitive esport on the planet, and other gaming companies took notice. From the titans of the gaming industry to television shows to even Blizzard themselves, it didn't take long for everyone to start making their own MOBA game with their own characters and ideas for the genre. MOBA still had many characteristics that the outside world saw as flaws, like the hyper-competitive community and...
Hold on. What do you mean? What's wrong with this picture? Just report her. There goes promotion. Ha 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 ha, you deserve that so hard. At least please. Fucking useless silver 4 idiot. And Alyssa is just mad, bro. What do you mean? What's wrong with this picture? It's all good in here.
An incredibly steep learning curve.
You want to tell me this is the League of Legends? Yeah, it is a learning curve. Yeah, okay, makes sense, yeah.
So perhaps it's no surprise so many companies jumped on the bandwagon trying to fix the genre with the hopes of being rewarded with a massive payday. But what was a surprise was how many of them failed. The decade of the 2010s was filled with MOBA releases, but virtually none of them survived. Half of all...
Bro, I've never heard of them. Hold on. Straight never heard of them. Awesome Knots. Never heard of it. Rise of Immortals, no. Bloodline Champions, Realm of the Titans, Monday Night Combat, cool. Heroes of Neverth, Land of Chaos Online, all of these are MOBAs I imagine, bro. Bro, never heard of a single one of them.
The 2010s was filled with MOBA releases, but
Mobile Game Titles, yes, straight up, bro, Mobile Game Titles.
Virtually none of them survived. Half of all releases don't even have live servers anymore, while the other half are supporting smaller communities than what they had at launch. League of Legends and Dota are basically the only 2 MOBA games that still see widespread popularity today. You can make any number of guesses for why nobody else succeeded in this space, but in my humble opinion, I believe it's because this genre of game is kind of antithetical to traditional corporate game development. Normally, video games get made when a publisher hires a studio led by a director to create a title, all in a very controlled environment.
Yeah,
this group is trying to make something that is obviously fun, but sometimes they're thinking about things beyond that. Publishers need to keep costs down while selling as many copies as possible to turn a profit, so development teams are often given strict timelines with low pay and rough working conditions. Similarly, many design decisions have to be made with things other than fun in mind. If you want to sell as many copies as possible, after all, being fun isn't the only thing that matters. You need a game that's also easy to learn, appealing to general audiences, enjoyable by all ages, and packaged with a friendly face. League of Legends was significant because it was the exact opposite of all of that.
Yeah, like exactly, bro. Straight up just what I wanted to say, bro. Is it fun? No. Can everyone enjoy it? Absolutely no. Is it easy to learn? Absolutely no shot. Does it have fun characters? I don't know. We have we have Hyena Warwick skin. Yeah, that's about it. And we have a ton of cat girls. So sure.
Significant because it was the exact opposite of all of that. This was a genre built by a collective group who were just trying to make something fun and nothing else. It began with a single high schooler making a custom
Hold up. Oh, there we go. The
StarCraft
timeline.
map and soon got passed around like a game of telephone with loads of voices volunteering their own ideas to the creative process until it grew to be larger than any one of them. Nobody was thinking about profit or deadlines. Nobody was worried if the game would be easy to learn or had a friendly community or whether it would even be finished. It was just a group of hyper-competitive elitist nerds.
The part where he said either or the game will be either finished. I don't think League is still finished, you know, given the fact that we have quite some bugs, quite some shenanigans, quite some issues with the game. I wouldn't say the game is finished yet.
Trying to make something that would be fun for themselves, and they accidentally ended up creating the greatest competitive video game format of all time. At a certain point, I don't think anyone could even tell you what made the game they came up with work so well. Why the 5 players per team? Why the 3 lanes? Why play all of this on a single unsymmetrical map? Later MOBA games, including League itself, would try adding new game modes and maps to give a fresh experience for veteran players.
True that, and they were fun, changed my mind, but they weren't the main course. Because bro, it's like going to the restaurant. You go to the restaurant, you order the main dish, then you have some sides. So these new modes were the sides, bro. Sure, they were awesome, no complaints, but bro, next day you're hungry again and you want to have a decent meal again, so we're going for the main dish, which is Summoner's Rift 5v5. You will not be surviving only on the side dishes, and since you ate the main dish right now, you know, second day in a row, you're kinda full. You don't want a side, so you're not playing this mode right now.
When League was released in 2009, in addition to Summoner's Rift, it also shipped with a 3v3 2-lane map called Twisted Treeline. Early promotional material for the game marketed League as something worth playing specifically because you could play more than one map. Later still, one of the earliest major new projects Riot took on was the creation of a territory-style game mode on another new map called Dominion, played on the Crystal Scar. When both of these maps were released, they garnered a relatively positive response from fans who thought they were a fast and fun change from the regular 5v5 mode. But after a few years, both of these maps proved to be so unpopular that they were removed from the game entirely. In fact, the only game mode in League today, other than 5 vs 5 Summoner's Rift matches, that still finds some popularity is All Random All Mid. Another community-created game mode that fans built for themselves through League custom games.
The whole idea, maybe, just maybe, is going to be, a hot take. But what if Riot just stops working on anything new and just allows people to create mods freely? What if? Let's see what happens then, because that's the entire basis of this game, how this game was created. People modding. How ARAM is still alive. Why? People were modding. So, you know, if we allow people to freely mod, maybe, just maybe, we will have something fun. Now I'm looking into the idea of modding, just how about you give me an idea to travel in time, you know? What if, as a modder, I'm going into Season 3 and creating a mod like that, importing all of the settings from Season 3. Of course, updated map, but the settings from Season 3, and we can play Season 3, you know? Call it League of Legends Classic, starting from Season 3. Or just Season 3, you know, so separate expansion. But how about this idea? Because that season was the most fun. This is where League of Legends peaked. Unironically, bro, I feel like we can show you that. What we need is global, worldwide, yes, thank you. And here, past 12 months, all time, from 2004. And yeah, this is inches by time, by region, yeah, so there we go, chat, that's the angle. Yeah, so bada bim bada bam, League of Legends, yeah, that's Google Trends. That is the very beginning, 2009, League got released, it's getting better. Season 1, that's the middle of Season 1, we're still going hype. This is the start of Season 3. Season 3, the world's couple of weeks before, no, or maybe this is where the world starts, and that's it. Maybe this is the final of the worlds. Quite a bit of hype. Okay, we're getting back to Season 4, middle of Season 4, we're still hyping. Same level, literally Season 3, Season 4 were the best. And then we go brrrr. What do we have in here? That's season 11. What happened in season 11? I feel like they changed map in season 11, no? What was significant in season 11, chat? Like, bro, I don't remember, but you got the idea. Brrr, durability patch and we dead. Oh, yeah, exactly. No? Yeah, straight up. Or maybe it was 20 when was COVID. Or maybe Arcane, but you get the idea. Arcane could be a narrative. Anyway, there's the thing.
What makes the MOBA genre so interesting is how a community created a game that was so fun it proved to be more enjoyable than anything every mega corporation could put together. In fact, traditional institutions didn't even understand the genre themselves. In the early 2010s, the original Dota developers who didn't go on to work at Riot ended up getting hired by Valve to create a standalone Dota project that would eventually become Dota 2. As the game was being rolled out, Valve filed a trademark for the word Dota, which is a standard legal procedure for any other video game genre, but it immediately created a nightmare legal battle in this one. At the time, Blizzard was developing their own MOBA game that was literally called Blizzard Dota. They were simply operating under the assumption that they owned the trademark and copyright for Dota, since it was something created in their own games. They originally tried to stop Valve from filing the trademark.
Now the question is, bro, it depends on your terms of service. If, as a player, bro, when I sign up into your Blizzard account, I agree with terms of service. If there's a specific line that says, any intellectual property created using our engine belongs to Blizzard, then sure, bro, that would be easy battle. But in this case, I don't think they had something like that, because I don't think they thought it's possible to create something using their engine, then outsource it and make it even better. That's the creation of League of Legends and Dota. I bet they do now, bro. I bet they're kinda salty by not including that single line, bro, in the terms of service.
But Valve believed they had full rights since the latest Dota developer, IceFrog, was working to build Dota 2 with them. Additionally, a rioter who ran one of the early Dota community sites filed a countersuit to try and stop the trademark, as he believed the community themselves owned Dota. He thought they should own the rights to the game, so Valve couldn't shut down the original mod if they wanted to in an attempt to funnel old fans into their own release. Eventually, Valve seemed to agree to give up non-commercial use of the word Dota, ensuring the original mod's survival in exchange for the commercial rights to promote and sell their own product. But the fact that lawsuits were even filed and this ended up in a court shows just how strange the circumstances were around this genre's creation. It's really unlike anything else out there. Riot has since reflected on this history and coined a phrase for it: black licorice culture. See, red licorice is something everyone likes. Nobody turns down a Twizzler.
Honestly, I don't think I've had red licorice. But black licorice is the best, what do you mean?
The fact that it's so ubiquitous kind of makes red licorice feel not all that special. Black licorice, by comparison, might only be enjoyed by a fraction of people. But
what do you mean? Is the red licorice WTF? Exactly, bro, like what do you mean? There's only black licorice is the best, what do you mean? And also my guy saying that a small portion of the people are enjoying it, bro. Have you heard of the entire country of Denmark? Like what do you mean?
The people who do like black licorice really like it. League of Legends was something that was built to only appeal to a small group of people, but they loved it so much they couldn't help but force everyone else to give it a try. And of all
100% red licorice is some pure sugar murica shit or something, true that.
All the players who've picked
Shifu, I'm from Denmark and I don't like it. Change the country, bro. Migrate somewhere else, bro. Denmark does not like you. You don't agree with Denmark, bro. Straight up disappointing, bro. Because if you want to be a true nationalist in Denmark, they ask you what's your favorite dish and you say black licorice. That's what it is.
up League over the years, there's one person that I believe represents this game better than any other.
Tyler won, but since we're going into South Korea, that's going to be Faker. Somehow I was expecting, even though I saw the timeline in here that we're ending the video, I was hoping for another 10 minutes of documentary and Faker, but you get the idea, I know. Second part, yeah, we're still waiting for the second part. Wish you happiness documentary, maybe next time, chat? Anyway, and that's the video.